Last time on Square Roots. If you've got a signal, it's a Geth ship. Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hello, Jim. Hello, listeners. Hello, mystery third host.
Also joined by Vanessa.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I'm the mystery third host. This is one of our rarest Square Roots episode, a Johnny-free experience. That's why my last time was so short.
Absent.
Yep.
Without Johnny here, I'm allowed to drink as much as I want, right?
Yep. Without Johnny here, I don't have to write a full last time. I can just sing a song.
I think Johnny's editing this one too, right? So
yeah, he is.
Good luck. Good luck, Johnny.
Good luck, John.
That's
what he gets.
Yeah. Let's just say, let me just add that this is a podcast where we play and talk about everyone's favorite classic RPGs, one chunker at a time. And we're playing Mass Effect 3. Still.
Don't say still like it's a burden.
We're nearing the end of our Mass Effect 3 journey.
This was the best chunker so far because it was filled with genocide and then even more genocide and then some suicide. Spoiler alert and
content warning.
I like it when Johnny's not here. We can really cut loose.
We can. It's time for Hot Straight News, the straightest news on the podcast verse.
Jesus, Vanessa. Always with the goddamn cancel jokes.
Speaking of cancel jokes, y'all see what Scott Adams has been up to recently?
Tell me who Scott Adams is first. Oh, that's Dilbert guy, right?
Yeah, Dilbert guy.
Yeah.
That guy got canceled 10 minutes after Dilbert came out because nobody gives a shit about Dilbert.
Yeah. Dilbert guy says that he's through hanging out with black people and trying to help them. And that it's better to just never be around black people.
He seems like a really normal guy.
Yeah, he says black people are a hate group, and so he won't try to help them anymore. I didn't realize he had been trying to help them, I guess by being a racist asshole for the last 20 years.
Well, I mean, there is a black character in Dilbert.
Oh, that's right.
That's probably what he means by not hanging out with black people, is that he's not going to write the black Dilbert character anymore, because that's as close as he gets.
He's going to aggressively kill that Dilbert character.
I think we talked about this last week, but why do conservatives have brainworms?
I don't know. I think they're just really scared all the time.
It's weird how we have a corrupt conservative Supreme Court that is literally like hacking away at your constitutional rights, like, you know, the freedom of speech. Don't make fun of police officers anymore because apparently it's okay for them to arrest you if you do. But meanwhile, conservatives are talking about how they don't want to hang out with black people, and Lego came out with a one-legged toy. Fucking goddamn.
I didn't hear anything about a one-legged toy. They're upset about, like, disability inclusion now?
Yeah, yes, and it's like a Lego man in a wheelchair, and that's a bridge too far. Meanwhile, everything conservatives pretend like they stand for is being torn to shreds by conservatives. It's amazing how fucking stupid these people are. What does it take to get brainworms like that? Because frankly, I kind of want it because I'm so goddamn depressed all the time because of all the awful shit that's happening.
You know what? This is exactly the kind of stuff that Johnny would make us move on from.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Ron DeSantis is banning books.
Oh, yeah. That guy's terrible.
No shit.
And every time I read about Florida, I think about you, and I'm sad.
That's all it takes, man. You know? Hate the right people, and who cares? Who cares how anti-conservative you really are?
I am very tickled by Trump's alleged nickname for him, which is Meatball Ron.
Yeah.
Which is an A+ nickname.
Is
Meatball Ron. You know.
It's not.
You don't have to give Trump credit for anything, granted, but he is pretty good at the nicknames, I will say.
I mean, he's a classic bully, and that's a classic bully nickname.
I don't agree with you. I think his nicknames are awful. I think they're all bad. But I want to
But they
move on
stick.
from this conversation. Yeah, that's because idiot conservatives pick them up. Who cares what conservatives do? They're morons. Listen, we
Sleepy
gotta
Joe.
move
Remember
on.
Sleepy Joe?
We gotta move on from this. I want to first, before we dive in too far to anything else, Jim, I'd like to compliment how pointy your hair is today.
I was just looking at his hair too.
I'm getting a haircut on Saturday, but right now it's real long.
Yeah,
I think
look at
you've been doing that with your
I love
fingers
it.
too.
It should
Because
be
if
like
you sort
that all
of
the
like
time.
turn your head a little bit, like you had it before, you can really see the like finger delineation and the waves of his hair. I feel like.
Yeah,
You look like
it's
you're
hard
in
to
a-
style right now, so I end up just messing with it all the time.
Yeah. looks
You
good.
look like you're in like an '80s mod band, and that's not an insult.
It's doing like this weird swoop curl
Yes,
thing
I love
right
it.
now.
Yeah, I like
I'm
it though.
so jealous.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
What do you guys think of my
keep
hair?
it.
Does my hair look good?
It looks really good. I like how
amazing.
shiny it is.
Don't lie to me. There's no hair there.
Well, something's shining.
I got a big burly beard.
You said you'd been having frizz problems with your beard. Is that under control now?
I just need
you ran out of beard condition.
I didn't. I just really need to trim it. It's just too long.
Y'all know what I did today? Oh, this is so exciting. It was like,
Oh god, she's gonna tell another story about
Unexpectedly-
shitting herself.
it was unexpectedly 78 degrees, like, and it had been really cold and wintry weather, but suddenly it's warm. And I had to go out, and I hadn't been keeping my legs shaved because it was winter. But I needed to go to the store and I wanted to wear a skirt. So I got like a maxi skirt and I'm like, okay, but I at least have to shave my ankles. So I grabbed that old Manscaped lawnmower 4.0
Hey,
and just hacked away at my lower calf.
this Vanessa's anecdote brought to you by our failed Manscaped
Our failed
sponsorship.
Manscaped.
Remember when they emailed us and they were like, "You sold 0 products."
We really tried to.
No,
Yeah, but
we
did you listen to how
not.
terribly we pitched it?
I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did it. I was the last person to pitch it, and I intentionally went as overboard as possible. It was a lot of fun for me because I don't care. I don't care if you make money. That's not what we're here for. We're here for our listeners.
We're here
that
for
they
the
can give
love of
us
the
money.
game.
I don't like doing ads. I don't feel like we should sell things on our podcast. What the fuck?
like
What do we
it.
know?
It's tiring. You have to like do research and stuff, and I just don't feel like I have.
I
a
like getting
salesman
free stuff,
personality.
though.
I love
Yeah,
the free
me too.
stuff. Oh my
Yeah.
god, it's the best. But
I
you
still
know, you
use
can
that fucking
send
lawnmower too. I only use it on my like neck, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's the best
Oh.
for that self.
That's how I
necky-
keep my facial hair nice and tight. Use that lawnmower.
Yeah, you
I
got
do
like
the
a
opposite.
fade going on there.
I do the opposite
Yeah.
with the facial hair.
Works really well.
Look at that. Look at that poofy beard. Look at my skunk marks.
Poof.
Remember when I dyed it and then I just let the gray grow back? I was just like, I don't care. I still have the
Yeah.
dye. Just like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's good. It's like a Doctor Strange kind of thing.
I agree. All right. Does anybody want to
Hot
talk about some
gaming
hot
news.
gaming news?
Ooh, what kind of hot gaming news is there? I don't even know.
Oh, there's
Feel out of the loop.
tons. Today was the PlayStation State of Play.
Oh,
They announced
right.
the release date for Baldur's Gate 3. That's big for our community,
And it's coming on PlayStation 5.
which I'm super excited about because I didn't want to play it on PC.
Nobody wants to play games on PC. That's for nerds.
Yeah.
I don't
There's some
remember what
Resident
the
Evil
release
4
date
news.
was, though. Go ahead.
They announced that Mercenaries mode is coming to Resident Evil 4, so that's fun.
They announced
There's a new Destiny expansion that was launched.
I was just thinking today how I kind of miss Destiny. Like, I liked those
I've
games.
been thinking about that too.
They're so fun to play.
Yeah, Destiny's cool.
And they had cool, like, aliens and worlds and stuff.
The weapons are neat.
Remember that weird, like, how Mars was, like, taken over by robots and it was all crazy?
Did you guys hear about that new game called Humanity? Which is about like you're a Shiba Inu spirit dog who has to lead like hundreds of humans and like lemmings to salvation.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I did see
sounds
they're going to
weird.
put Zangief into Street Fighter. I'm sure Johnny's very excited about that.
And Cammy and a new character named Lily. I'm actually weirdly excited for Street Fighter 6. I never get super into those games, but I always play the shit out of them for like 2 weeks.
We also learned that for the upcoming Suicide Squad game, you're going to have to be online all the time, even for a solo player campaign.
That doesn't shock me because there was not a release, but like a leak of the menu screen, and it looked like Call of Duty. Like there were multiple currencies, and it was all about online play and stuff. Which what? It's called The Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. This is an online game?
Yeah, the Justice League is going to be like Babe Bader 28 in rural Michigan. It's I, Superman.
It is going to have like a battle pass, but I think it's just for cosmetics. So if you want your boomerang guy to be in a different costume, I guess you can buy the battle pass.
Okay. I'm okay with cosmetics in games. Like, I paid for cosmetics in PUBG. I paid for $30 for that game 5 years ago. I feel obligated to give them money sometimes.
How much money, though, have you spent on cosmetics?
I mean, I don't tend to... I'm not that guy that buys, like, is like, ooh, I'm going to buy this gun skin for $20. But I do buy I'll buy the season pass most of the time. Sometimes they're bad and I won't buy them. But I've bought most of the season passes at $10 a pop. And there's probably been 20 of those things. And I've probably bought 15 of them. But again, bought the game for $30 5 years ago, still play it on a regular basis. So,
yeah.
The Bears came out today. There's some hot gaming news. Do you guys know that there's bears on Vikendi now?
Oh, that's cool.
No, can you ride them?
No, but they can kill the shit out of you. And if you get in your car, they'll attack your car and knock the tires off, which is pretty funny.
Oh, really?
There's also a
can you
thermal-
kill them? What do
Yes.
you get if you kill them?
Nothing. They guard caves full of loot. Full of like top tier loot. So I think it's a fun idea. I haven't run into them yet. They also added a thermal scope, which is something from Call of Duty or one of those games.
Ooh, that sounds neat.
You know, it all sounds pretty neat to me. I'll tell you who doesn't think it's neat. Fucking every PUBG community on the internet who is acting like they have been slapped in the fucking face by Crafton. It's crazy. I might stop playing PUBG just because I hate the goddamn people that play it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I was just reading about the Destiny update. And, Matt, you know that big thing called the Traveler? That big white orb that never does anything? It shows it shooting stuff.
Oh, really? I thought it crashed into the moon or some shit. I don't know. I'm way back on that thing. Just to follow up on something we talked about at the beginning of this, the release date for Baldur's Gate 3 is August 31st.
Ooh.
That's cool, man. I'm very excited for that game. And I'll tell you what else makes... I failed to talk there. I'll tell you what else makes it exciting. We're probably going to be playing Baldur's Gate 1 next on the show.
I've never played a Baldur's Gate game.
I mentioned it to Dr. Steve Stone today, and he talked a lot of shit about it.
Does the Enhanced Edition, is it still point and click, or do I get to drive my character around?
I mean, if you're playing it on a console, I have to assume that it's got some level of driving your character around.
I hope so.
Well, we'll see.
I don't want to be pointing and clicking with my analog.
I've got bad news for you. It's not up to you. It's up to the patrons.
Well,
I'm sure the Enhanced Edition will work just fine.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I mean, it's supposed to have a good plot and, like, good characters and stuff.
Sure.
It'll be nice.
It's like D&D stuff, right?
Unlike fucking... I mean, it's a BioWare game. It's like the first BioWare game.
It's extended
Double BioWare.
BioWare. Should it win? But the hottest gaming news of all is that babes are back. That's right.
Pig in the City?
Aside, Aloy. Take a seat.
Oh, my God. No, you're going to make me start
Laura
ranting about
Croft,
brainworms again.
The reboot version. Everyone's gone crazy for the babes of Atomic Heart.
The ballerina bot.
Listen, I'm going to be real with you guys, though. Those robots are hot.
They don't have a
I don't like
shapely.
I don't like to feel that way about video game characters, okay? It kind of makes me uncomfortable because shit ain't real, all right? Let's focus on the real world stuff. Touch grass a little. But also, like, those pictures keep showing up, and I'm like, God, look at that shape, though.
So some people love them because they're super hot, I guess, even though they don't have a face, but maybe that's...
Who needs a face?
Yeah. Other people... are saying, no, this game is terrible. We should not play it because its developers kind of maybe sort of have some kind of ties to the Russian oligarchy, maybe?
It's a Russian developer, and so pretty much everything that's coming out of Russia has ties to the Russian oligarchy.
Yeah. So the Ukrainians are trying to take this game off the shelves.
That's a tough thing. They've been working on this game for years, and at the end of the day, it's a team of people who have nothing to do with fucking Vladimir Putin or the war in Ukraine and are just trying to make a video game.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't J.K. Rowling.
I think their
this isn't
offices are
Harry
actually
Potter.
based out of. They're a Russian developer, but I think their offices are based out of Cyprus. But I think their investors are sneaky Russians.
In a way, though, despite what I said, giving money to this game is giving money pretty much straight into the Russian war machine. So I'm not gonna buy it. I don't know what to tell you.
I played it. I downloaded it on Game Pass.
You are canceled.
Canceled.
I've played like an hour of it.
I don't want to see. I just don't want to see those sexy robots. I don't think I can handle it. It'll be like when I'm.
Too horny.
It'll be like when I'm trying to read text on the screen. You know, I just.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's it for hot gaming news.
Good segment.
Yeah.
Was
in
it?
conclusion, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism.
You guys want to level up? Who's got a good level up?
I've got a level up.
Oh.
All right.
Go ahead.
Well,
Matt.
let's
You know what?
start with
You know
my
what?
mild
You go
and short
first.
level up.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Okay.
It's mild and short. I don't have much to say to talk about other than I did finish that Scholomance series I've been talking about by Naomi Novik. I read the final book in the trilogy, The Golden Enclaves. It was fucking phenomenal. Just what a great series. I'm thinking about rereading it. That's how much I liked it. It was that good. And the when you finally piece together certain things that were hinted at in the first book and you see how it all ties together, like I really felt like kind of blown away at like how elegantly built the whole world was. And then on top of that, the characters were such a delight that I loved it. New favorite book series.
I heard it made you cry.
I mean, the ending was heavy. There was a lot of heavy shit in it. It's not a YA book, even though it kind of seems like it is, like almost kind of like in size and subject matter. And the characters are kids. Not kids, but like
Young.
Teenagers. Mm-hmm. Late young adults. But it had a lot of heavy subject matter, and really, this is not a joke. The real big bad of that series is wealth inequality. Honestly, that's what it kind of came down to. And I was like, but it was brilliant.
Big bad
it doesn't
of
come out
life.
and say that. Yeah, it was really fucking smart. It was a good series, and I want to recommend everybody check that series out. It started with A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, and I absolutely cannot recommend it enough. I'll tell you what. As I was nearing the end, Naomi Novik as a writer, apparently, I'm guessing, just from this series, is the type of writer that doesn't like, you read most books and like 2/3 of the way through the book that you can tell that they're like barreling towards the climax. And Naomi Novik does not do that. I've got like 30 pages left in Golden Enclave, and I'm going, how could you possibly end this series at this point? Not enough papers left for end of series. I was getting frustrated. I was like, is there a sneaky fourth book? Is this a trilogy 1 and there's going to be a trilogy 2? No. 30 pages left, and then 20 pages later, I'm crying, and I'm like, that's the best thing I've ever read. It was phenomenal, and I just want to recommend that to everybody. If you like to read novels, go get the Scholomance series by Naomi Novik. Vanessa.
Yes.
Wow us with your level up.
My level up is so good. I had a real throwback to, the days when you'd go out of your house and do things in evenings. I went to an authentic comedy club. The kind of place where there's like, you're kind of in a basement and there might be a little bit of mold on the walls and a whole bunch of posters of comics who have been there before. And you paid for your ticket, but then you also have to pay for like a minimum of 2 items off the menu. And if you get a drink, it's going to be in the tiniest glass ever and watered down.
Oh, I've been there.
Lukewarm. It's served to you by some guy who wants to be a stand-up and doesn't want to be a waiter, so he's really terrible at it.
Yeah, and the food's kind of cold.
The food's kind of cold and miserable. A friend I was with got the fried mozzarella sticks, and one of them was just a shell, just the fried dough, and the mozzarella was gone. There was nothing in there.
That means it was overcooked.
Yeah. But we went to see a woman named Ada Rodriguez, who I had not heard of, but my friends had, and I thought that she was very good. She was born in Massachusetts, but she attended Florida State University for a while, and just kind of talks about her life. She was raised by a single mother and recently found her birth father, who lives in the Dominican Republic. So it was a little bit about her finding him and going back. And she pokes a lot of fun at white people, which was pretty great because I also think white people are dumb. I can say that because I am one. So if you are sensitive, though, about being poked at as a white person, it might not be for you, but she's very much an advocate for comedian women of color, and she talks about today's issues and relates it to her personal life. That is my review of Ada Rodriguez, and her special, I think, is on HBO.
Did she talk about how she was leaving comedy to find a husband?
She didn't talk about that. She does have children. I don't know if she's married or not. But if she is, I assume that she had to take a break from comedy to find a man with balls, because every man in comedy is a soy boy, beta cuck. There were 2 men who opened for her. And I don't heckle. I don't really live in a heckling town, for one thing. For the other thing, I worship the fourth wall. I don't want performers to even acknowledge they can see me or are aware that I'm in the room at all, and I don't want to interact with them. But the whole time they were up there, I was just like, what a couple of soy boy beta cucks. Look at these losers. But they've never got it wet in their whole life. So that's what I did. I have also been continuing to play Mass Effect Andromeda and continuing to watch Taskmaster Australia, which is difficult because I have to go to Australia once a week to see it. But I make it back in time to record. Jim, how did you level up?
I leveled up. I watched the hot new independent horror film called The Outwaters, which is a found footage horror film about 4 friends who go to record a music video in the desert and are visited upon by all manner of cosmic horror.
Oh, you love cosmic horror.
I do. This movie was weird, though, because it was pretty normal for the first half of it, and the last half of it was just very disorienting. People screaming and gore and genital mutilation and
no, thank you.
weird hell eels and rivers of blood. It was a lot. There's a lot going on in that second half, and I don't know that I fully understood it. But I think it was very affecting, and I thought it was really well done for a movie that was seemingly shot for $10. It had a really limited theatrical run a few weeks ago. Now it's on the app Screambox, which, as far as streaming services go, is really cheap. I paid for 6 months of Screambox, and it cost me $15.
Wow.
So if you're into that, Screambox is a pretty good deal. And I also, like I said earlier, played a little bit of Atomic Heart. The voice acting is not good, and the tone of it is really weird. But the more I play it, it's kind of grown on me a little bit. I've been following the development of that game for a long time. I saw like a concept video like 5 years ago, and I was like, well, this seems okay, but then it never came out, and it never came out. And now it's finally out. And it's just okay. Like most video games, it's just okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I leveled up.
Wow. Short, tight level ups. We did hot gaming news. We're sub 30 minutes at this point. What's happening? This is going to be an episode for ants.
We're cruising. Cruising
USA, baby.
Mm-hmm. It's all right. People don't want long eps when Johnny isn't here anyway. Let's face it, he's the real star. I always say it's me, but it's Johnny.
It is Johnny.
I disagree. It's clearly me.
It is you.
Cutie.
It is Mr. Cutie. I thought you had another new nickname that you were going to premiere, and then you walked back from it. Mr. Charming.
It was
or something
last
like
week.
that?
He announced one, and I cut it.
Oh, no.
I don't remember what it was.
It was Mr. Cutie. That was the joke. I was like, I got a new nickname I'm going to try out, and then I just said Mr. Cutie. That was it.
Oh, I thought you said something else. Last week I had a real hell of a time editing because Matt clapped twice. He clapped once at the beginning of his track, and then there was like 3 minutes, and then another clap, and I tried to sync you with the first clap, and it just fucked me up.
Good.
Oh, that's what happened.
Feel my pain. I revel in your discomfort.
I got 20 minutes into the edit and got so confused that I just abandoned the whole thing and started over.
Wow.
Wow. All right, so last time we
Wait, don't we have a game to play?
That's what I'm going to talk about.
No, we're not doing Jim's Stupid Game because John's not here. Although, I mean, it would be a prime time for you guys to catch up.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I should do it real quick. I can put it together real quick.
Let's have a death match, me and Vanessa.
Yeah.
Okay.
One question, one winner.
Jim, why's your hand up?
Okay.
My hand?
I think
It's not.
Your name's not Jim. Don't point your fingers at me.
This hand? It's not up. It's on my shoulder.
Your name's not Jim. Are you Jim?
I don't know.
Okay, here we go. Ooh, I had this magazine. Okay.
Death
okay, let's
match,
go a little bit
Jim
further.
Stupid Game, or whatever it's called. Full Frontal Nudity? It's a weird name for a game.
Here we go. Here's the November 2003
November
issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly. And I'm going to download it right now.
Jim coming in hot with weird pronunciations in place of Johnny.
What did I say?
November.
November.
I like it, though. I feel like November is something that we could leverage. Like, what does November have right now? No Shave November. No one cares. And,
NaNoWriMo.
yeah, NaNoWriMo, which doesn't really produce anything. Yes,
No.
right, it's good, but then you have to rewrite it for the whole rest of the year.
Oh, I have a good one. Oh, no, wait, never mind. That's a thing for a movie. Here's a good one. Okay. Here's the tagline. Let's say, I'm going to say this. Well, how do you guys want to do this? If this is a death match, what do you want the rules to be?
We can say buzz, Matt's dream. Buzzing in.
But are we following the same kind of general rules as, like, I read the tagline and then you guys get a chance to buzz? And
Yeah.
Then... Okay. Okay, here we go. Tagline for this game. Worth 20 points if you guess it. Your leaders may lie, but your camera won't.
Oh.
Buzz.
Matt.
Is the game Fatal Frame?
That is incorrect.
Fuck.
Buzz.
Vanessa.
Is the game that zombie game?
No.
All right.
Vanessa, you're intimately familiar with this game because you mentioned it very recently.
I did.
Shut up to that goddamn hint. Buzz.
Matt.
Is the game Pokemon Snap?
It is not.
Pokemon Snap's tagline should be "Your leaders may lie, but your camera won't."
Overthrow the Pokemon oligarchy. The Pokearchy.
A
What are you drinking there, Jim?
I'm familiar with. I mentioned recently.
I got some bourbon.
It's got lion leaders and it's got a camera.
Okay, should I move? Do you want me to move to add copy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Add copy reads, there's only one way to blow the lid off a government conspiracy, expose the lies. An action reporter with an eye for the truth and the heart of a hero. See beyond the propaganda.
Oh.
Discover the
I
secrets
know
of
what
a
it
vast,
is.
immersive world.
Buzz.
Matt Buzz first.
Spider-Man.
Incorrect.
Space Channel 5? Is that what it's called?
Are you serious? No, it's not Space Channel 5. All right, I'm going to go to the random hints, I guess. The developer is Ubisoft.
Buzz.
And this... okay, go ahead.
Is it Beyond Good and Evil?
It is. Yes! Beyond Good and Evil.
Oh, I am intimately familiar with that game.
I know. Hold on. Let me
It's a Zelda.
make sure to get Matt's score up here.
Best 2 out of 3. I want to keep playing.
No, I don't want to play anymore.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Hold on. We gotta have a big point things to give you guys a chance to catch up to Johnny.
I want to go to bed.
Okay, let's do 2 more. And
Vetoed.
No matter-
Vanessa is vetoed, not you, Jim.
2 more. And I'm gonna start with... let's see. Never heard of that game. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna give you a few hints to start out with. And the first person to buzz in and give me the correct answer gets 20 points right off the bat.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Tagline is, the fate of humanity rests with Homer J. Simpson.
What the fuck?
And Electronic Gaming Monthly called this the best Simpsons game ever.
Uh-huh.
The tagline for the game is, save Springfield by car, by foot, by the seat of your pants.
I don't know the names of any of the Simpsons games.
This game has over 40 unique vehicles.
Yeah, I remember that there was a Simpsons driving game. I just don't remember the
Yeah.
name. Buzz.
Matt.
Simpsons Road Rage.
Incorrect.
Buzz.
Vanessa.
Simpsons Off-Road Adventures.
Incorrect.
Buzz.
Matt.
Simpsons Save Springfield.
Incorrect.
It was a good guess, though.
Buzz.
Vanessa.
Simpsons Drive Crazy.
Incorrect.
We're not going to guess the name of this game.
All right, I'll move on.
What was the game?
Simpsons Hit and Run.
Hit and Run. That's right.
Let's see. What do we got here? This is an RPG, but I don't know if you guys would know that one.
I know every RPG. I'm an RPG expert. I have a podcast about RPGs that's been going for like 20 years. 353 episodes. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is a good one. Tagline: unseen, unauthorized, unstoppable. And it says, wage war as you choose, and the weapon it shows is the Mako pistol or Mako pistol. And this
the fuck is a
ad
Mako
is
pistol?
famous. This ad is famous for showing the main character pointing a gun like directly at the person reading the ad, and it looks super edgy.
But Buzz?
Matt.
Final Fantasy Dirge of Cerberus.
No, this is not the RPG. Well, it is. I mean, this series became an RPG. It became an RPG developed by Square Enix.
Buzz.
Vanessa.
Max Payne?
No, that never became an RPG developed by Square Enix.
Buzz.
Buzz. Vanessa.
Gabriel Knight.
No. It became we did one of these on the show, or we talked about doing one on the show. Maybe it was a bonus.
Buzz Parasite
Matt.
Eve?
No. It starts with a D.
Buzz.
Vanessa.
Devil May Cry.
No, we never did that for the show ever.
There's no Devil May Cry RPG.
No.
Buzz.
Okay.
Disgaea?
Matt. No. The sequel for the PS3 had the subtitle Human Revolution.
Buzz.
Vanessa.
Deus Ex.
What is this game? What is the subtitle for this game, though? What's the one before Human Revolution?
Mankind Divided.
What's the one before that?
2.
I'm going to give Vanessa 10 points.
I don't understand why. The fuck? The fuck are you talking about? You're going to give Vanessa 10 points. She answered it incorrectly.
It's called Deus Ex 2.
Oh, I guess. But you said that it was an RPG that eventually was developed by Square Enix. So I thought Square Enix made an RPG.
I said it became an RPG. I said
it was always an RPG.
Is Deus Ex Invisible War an RPG?
Yes. The same way
Deus
that
Ex Invisible War.
all the rest of them are.
20 points, please.
Okay. Okay. Here's one,
You
Matt.
didn't buzz.
Here's one I think that both of you guys would know.
All right.
The subtitle is Baptized in Blood. A family's tragic destiny is born.
That's the subtitle of the game?
No, that's the tagline for the ad.
Buzz.
Matt.
Max Payne?
Let me read the ad copy.
Wait,
At the
I
dawn
wanna
of
guess,
the second millennium.
Guess.
Oh, Vanessa.
Silent Hill 2.
No, God, what a mess this is. All right, let me read the ad copy. At the dawn of the second millennium, the first blank makes the ultimate sacrifice, and the destiny of a bloodline is decided.
Buzz.
Vanessa.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
That's close. That's close.
Buzz.
But no. Matt.
Legacy of Kain.
Close, but no. What's the other vampire series?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
What is a man?
Buzz.
Oh.
Castlevania.
Matt. Castlevania what?
Buzz.
Oh, what was the tagline again?
Vanessa.
Castlevania 2.
Incorrect. Matt, it's Baptized in Blood, a family's tragic destiny is born.
Buzz, Castlevania Symphony of the Night?
No.
Buzz
3D,
Castlevania 64.
The 3D debut on PlayStation 2.
Oh,
Buzz.
Buzz.
Castlevania
Matt.
Origins.
Incorrect.
Castlevania Lord of Shadows?
Incorrect.
Fuck you.
Castlevania Night Bites.
Castlevania Phantasmagoria.
Incorrect.
What
Matt,
was the name
you
of the
get 10
first?
points.
What was the name of the first Castlevania? Lord of Shadows was the second one, right?
I don't know.
Well, what's the fucking game then?
Castlevania Lament of Innocence.
Oh, I remember Lament of Innocence. That game was trash.
Yeah, it's a bad one.
Castlevania 64,
Okay.
surprisingly good.
I'm going to find a real good one
We've
here.
already done 3. You promised 3, and then we
One
can move
more.
on.
One more.
No one promised anything.
Wait,
one more. One more.
One more. Here we go.
This is what happens when Johnny's not around. We just bully you into doing things.
We just do stuff.
Yeah, actually, before we get into the quest log, I want to play Matt's stupid game.
No, before.
But I want to play Matt's stupid game.
If we keep delaying the quest log, I'm going to make one of you two do it.
I wrote the fucking notes.
I know you did. And I guess I'll make Jim do it.
No, the person that writes the notes generally does the quest log.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm not volunteering.
Well, I think this will be a unusual kind of quest log because I believe that we had some wildly disparate experiences.
I tried to cover some of that stuff. Like at the end of Priority Rannoch, I covered the different things that can happen in the final paragraph there.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a good boy.
You are.
I'm going to give you a big hint right here.
People go to the doctor all the
and
time.
This is a hint that has nothing to do with the. Well, here's a hint. This was an answer from a previous game.
Oh.
Or from a previous game.
Huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Wow.
So tagline is "Be fierce," and the ad copy reads, "Buzz in whenever you feel like you know the answer. Slay your way through the glorious realms of blank in a non-stop hack and slash adventure brimming with heroic quests, beautiful locales, enchanted zones, and dark and mysterious dungeons."
Is this the Dungeons and
Create
Dragons game
your
that none of us had heard
champion.
of? Oh, I Buzz.
Matt,
Champions of Norath. EverQuest
Champions of Norath
Champions
what?
of Norath.
okay, I'll accept that answer.
What the fuck else could it be?
It's Champions of Norath Realms of EverQuest, but
Okay.
you basically got it.
Yay!
All right, that's 20 for Matt.
That's from last week.
Okay, I know. Tally, Matt, 85 points now.
Woo!
After that blitz, Vanessa, 35.
Boo.
Better than last
35.
time.
And Johnny,
I'm proud of you.
sitting pretty with 120.
Fuck that whole thing. John's not allowed to play this game anymore.
John's got a good memory for these games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a good memory, period.
Time for the Codex.
Jim!
Last time we cured the genophage. We traveled
Yes.
to the Quarian fleet, and we
Yes.
shut down the signal coming from the Geth ship, rescuing Legion in the process.
Yes.
So now we're sort of given the option to go right ahead and attack the Reapers on the Quarian homeworld, or we can do a couple of side quests. Side quest number 1, rescue Admiral Nice Pants.
This is he's an admiral of the civilian portion of the Quarian fleet.
Mm-hmm. And he's the one with the most sympathy towards the Geth in general, I would say.
Yeah.
But he has crashed on the Quarian homeworld, so we're sent after him. This is just one of those enemy wave kind of things where we run to one place and save a few Quarians and run to another place and save a few Quarians. Am I remembering this correctly?
I think so. Wait, say that again?
Or am I getting this confused with the Turian quest? I know
What do you mean?
we crash land, we find a Quarian, he's dying, he's like, oh, the Admiral, he went that away.
Yeah, so the pretext for this mission is we have to go we're going to shut down the Geth server.
Right.
Right? But we also learn that this Admiral has crash landed.
No. These are two missions.
Or are these different?
Save the Admiral is its own mission. It's a Quarian Admiral that you go save. That's the whole mission.
Yeah.
And when you find him, he's like, or when you talk to him on the radio, he's like, go. And you run into a dying man who's like, wants you to pass on his dying message. And then you get the admiral on the phone, and he's like, "Don't save me, save my men." And I was like, "No, I will not."
That's the right choice. That's the right choice. Mm-hmm. Like, if you want the best outcome from this, you have to save this guy.
Yeah. I saved him as well. He was kind of adamant to not come to him and save his men instead, but that dying Quarian really kind of said, like, "Oh, I'm happy to give my life. Just save the admiral. He's really important. We need him."
Yeah, everybody's willing to die for this sweet, sweet admiral.
Mm-hmm. And who am I to argue with everyone?
Yeah.
So I think that's
I like this mission. I liked being on Rannoch. I liked Tally being so enamored by it, even though it's kind of a real ugly planet. It reminds me of the desert planet from Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, it very much is sort of that Southwest America big rock formation kind of world.
Yeah.
But yeah, I brought Tally too, and she did talk about how she can't believe she finally gets to see the homeworld. It's amazing, etc., etc.
Was this when she talked about building a home here? I thought that was the priority Rannoch message.
That's at the end of the mission, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that actually comes up in Mass Effect 2 because one of the reasons why her father was so insistent on finding a way to end the war with the Geth was because he promised Tally to build her a home on Rannoch once the war was over.
Yeah, and Tally kind of explains because of their delicate immunosystems, and I guess the reason for that maybe is coming from such an arid place where there weren't a lot of like pollens and things like that, they kind of imply.
I don't know. She mentions later that she can't take off her mask on Rannoch because their little baby immune systems are still little babies because they've been in space for so long.
It'll take just a few years for their immune systems to adjust, she thinks.
Yeah.
There's some interesting stuff about that at the end of this chunker if, you don't genocide somebody.
Right. So I did save the Admiral. Matt, did you save the Admiral?
Yeah, I saved the Admiral too. It seemed like, I think that was the Paragon choice.
Mm-hmm. Jim, did you save the Admiral? I think you already said that you did. I'm sorry. So that's that. And we have one other quest before the main one, which is Legion's Cyberspace Adventure.
This one's awesome. I loved this one. Favorite quest in the fucking
this was
game.
Dumb.
I thought it was stupid too.
Dumb.
Really?
Yeah.
Running around through cyberspace? Blasting viruses? Learning about the history of the Quarians and the Geth and how the Quarians are shitty?
This was like a walking simulator.
Yeah.
It's like 10 minutes long.
Basically, you just walk
you gotta
from
blast
place
a bunch
to place.
of cubes?
You blast
You're not
a
wrong.
bunch of cubes.
I guess part of it is that I just really hate the combat in this game. So to get a mission that was like anything else, I was like, yes. Mm-hmm. If you gave me this as a whole game, I agree. I'd be like, please get the fuck away from me with this. And
you watch some short films.
Yeah, but they're interesting because it's all about, the Geth and the Quarian thing has always been a little, it's always been it's kind of like the genophage thing where you're like, the game kind of pushes you to be like, yeah, like let's side with these people. But when you really look at it, it's like the genophage was bad and shitty and wrong.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about that last week.
So is this the Geth?
Mass Effect.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mass Effect 1 and most of Mass Effect 2 position the Geth as the aggressors in this conflict. Like they were robots that gained sentience that attacked their creators, but actually these little vignettes show you that it was the Quarians that really started this and that the Geth acted in self-defense. And that the first Geth to kill a Quarian actually sacrificed himself to save the rest of the Geth, but it didn't work.
Save other Geth was the only reason he took up arms. The Quarian are at fault for this
Yeah,
conflict.
because he
This lays
wanted
it
to
out for you.
concentrate all the aggression on himself.
And what it tells you is that the minute the Geth actually gained some semblance of sentience, that the Quarians lost their shit and started trying to eradicate them. And it looked like there were good Quarians who were trying to stop this, hiding Geth, trying to protect the Geth. But at the end of the day, the Nazi Quarians fucking won out and tried to do a genocide. Which made the end having played this before Priority Rannoch made the choice there really fucking easy.
Legion does mention that because there is a little vignette that shows like a Quarian being killed for helping the Geth, I think, or something like that.
No, there's one where
and Shepard was like, there were Quarians on your side, and Legion was like, oh, it happened so long ago that everybody basically forgot. But yeah, there were Quarians who were trying to keep the peace.
There were Quarians trying to keep the peace. I don't think that's what happened though. I think that the Geth, that the Quarian offered to stand up, was like, I'll stop them, you go, and the Geth stood up and was like, no, I'll turn myself in, and just got executed.
Oh, okay.
To protect the creators.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's
that's
interesting
right.
how the Geth are always referring to the Quarian as the creators, which is kind of a reverential term.
This is the best.
Yeah.
This not the gameplay here, but the revelations here, and then tying into what we're about to do in Priority Rannoch, I thought was the best writing so far in this game.
I agree, and I think it's
Other than
not
the party on
only.
the
I think
Citadel,
it's
which
really
was-
good.
I want that to be a whole game.
Everyone wants that.
I think this whole Quarian Geth arc feels like the most well written, like consistently well written across the whole series, I think, and also has the hardest hitting payoff because the conclusion to this arc that we'll get to in a minute is a real gut punch either way it shakes out, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I did not have Legion. I had Geth VI.
The VI.
I loved the VI, by the way, and Shepard just continues to call it Legion, and I bet the dialogue's pretty much the same, except every once in a while, the Geth VI will turn around and say, "I'm not Legion."
Yeah, the dialogue is basically the same, and the voice acting, the voice actor is the same.
Yeah, it is. Good stuff. Yes, Legion Cyberspace Adventure. If we didn't get too far into it, what you end up doing is jacking into the Geth servers yourself, like it's the Matrix. And then you run through a cool digital world where platforms just kind of appear at your feet right as you take a step. And there are these big viruses, which are big yellow blocky things, that you have to blast with a Geth Spitfire gun, which we get to use in the next mission against actual enemies, and is amazing.
You get one in that first Geth mission 2 on their Dreadnought.
Really? I may not have used it.
I think it's at the you're right. It's in the next mission. It's at the end of the next.
Well, you
mission.
definitely get one in the next mission. Anyway, you run through and you blast away the virusy chunks off of these data cubes that then will open up to reveal a little vignette. And I thought it was fucking great. I mean, I agree with you that it's a walking simulator. But the plot revelations were enough to really get me super hooked on this part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
The second part of it, where you have to like shoot the virus at a different area than the one that's in front of you,
shoot the connection.
Really hung me up for a second.
Yeah,
because it seems like the range on that gun is super inconsistent.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had problems with that
Like
too.
sometimes it'll seem like it can't shoot 5 feet in front of you, and then it wants you to shoot something 50 feet away, and it'll work.
Yeah.
I had a weird hang up here where like you only would have to shoot enough of the virus to like make your path open up, but there was always a ton of the virus left around. And so I would spend minutes just clearing out the virus. But there were multiple sections here where I was like, why am I doing this? I don't have a reason to do this. And then I wouldn't do it for a minute, but then I would start doing it again. But I really wondered, like, what if you clear all the virus out? Like, could that change the game? That would be interesting. Probably not.
It would be. I don't think that's the case, but it would be interesting.
Probably not though.
I did
Anyway.
like that this kind of called back, and we get another little callback later too, Legion's loyalty quest in Mass Effect 2 when we see a Geth asking a Quarian if it has a soul. And I think Tali or Shepard asks, oh, is that the first time a Geth asked if it had a soul? And Legion says, no, that's the first time one of the creators was scared when a Geth asked if it had a soul.
That's a weird answer.
I don't think it's
know
weird.
if we
I think
explained.
it's cool.
I don't know if we explained what we're doing here. There's a Reaper. The Geth are being held by this old mind system, which is the Reaper's system. And in this, you're like going into clear. What are you doing here? You're severing. Oh, you're trying to destroy this whole platform so that you can kill all the Geth ships
to clear
in
out
orbit.
The Geth infection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you're trying to clear up the Reaper infection from the Geth,
Oh, yeah, Reaper
because
infection, that's what I meant.
Legion says that this is where the Geth really live, is in this cyberspace, and that the stuff that's happening in the physical world is of less interest to them, because they just, do their program task. But they live here. Anyway, you were trying to shut this whole place down. You're destroying it, specifically because it will shut the Geth fleet down.
Mm-hmm.
And you do. And the Quarians get a big advantage, which is important because then we move on to priority Rannoch.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things where, like, the Quarians then start attacking the ship because they realize that its defenses are down, and Shepard is sort of trying to convince them not to do that and be like, no, the Geth are not under Reaper control anymore. There's a whole bit where these Quarians are kind of like holding their ship in a line, and they want Shepard's advice on whether or not to attack or something like that. There's a lot going on in this space battle as you're on the planet making your choices there. But what does happen on priority Rannoch? Matt.
Oh, good. We land on Rannoch, and I may be wrong about this, but when I landed here, I thought this is when Tali kind of looks around and talks, and she's like, "I'll put the window there," and talks about how she'll build a home here, and then Vanepard.
I think that's later. I think that's after the mission.
No,
I think it's sort of a theme throughout it.
Yeah,
it was right at the beginning when Shepard. I thought it was the beginning of this mission. Maybe it was the beginning of one of the two we just discussed. But Shepard gives Tali a rock and is like, here's a piece of your planet, because Tali explains some word that she says that's like a blessing, and she's like, that's by the homeworld I hope to see one day, and she's like, and here I am seeing it. It's good stuff. Good writing. Who doesn't fucking love Tali?
That's how they finish their conversations with each other. Mm-hmm. Like, they say, Khalees Alai.
It's unfortunate that we don't have Johnny around to explain what bizarro Tali says.
I know.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Anyway, we get attacked by some Geth, and then we fight them, obviously, and wipe them out. And then we see a big ole hole in the tunnel in the ground. Tunnel's not the right word. What would you call it? It's a base. Like, it's ginormous. You could fit a fucking fleet.
Oh, it's
through
like
it.
it's a big silo thing that's in the that's like at the center of the space.
Yeah, with some blast doors, and the blast doors slam closed. So we fight off a bunch of waves of Geth, and then we have to head inside to figure out how to open the blast doors. And that's mostly just fighting through waves of Geth until you get to a override. And you override the doors, and blah blah blah. We realize that we can't go back. We're gonna have to go up this elevator. And of course, I think this is the first time in the game, for me anyway, that I recall, is this: you're like, we have to ride this elevator, and you hit it, and it comes down, and it's got a Geth Prime on it.
Yeah,
they're awesome. They're like giant legions that are all red and beat the shit out of you.
Mm-hmm. In the first game, we would fight these with our Mako sometimes, but I think very rarely, if ever, on the ground. And then in the second game, there's at least one point where you fight one on the ground, but not very often, I think.
Well, we get hit with a bunch of them here. You kill one as well as some rocket Geth, which, by the way, the rocket Geth are the fucking worst. Those rockets can hit you no matter where you are in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's very frustrating. But we ride the elevator up and we fight some more Geth primes, and that's when you get the Geth Spitfire gun, which is against these Geth primes is amazing. It's not like an arc of lightning. It's like several arcs of lightning blast out of this gun and just destroy everything around them.
Yeah, very effective against electronic enemies.
I had a really hard time with this section because there's a section here where you enter a corridor and there's 3 Geth primes plus a bunch of Geth rocket troops. And unless you pick up one of those Geth Spitfire guns, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like, I bet I died here 10 times.
I mean, I'm playing it on easy, so this whole chunk was all easy. I also went and picked up, I wanted to mention this. I went and picked up the Venom shotgun that Johnny won't shut up about. And you know what? It's a little hard to hit the enemies with it sometimes because it's a grenade launcher. So you have to like play that arc. But it one hits almost everything. It's so fucking fun. It makes the game better in a lot of ways. And also I learned that if you shoot them in their little footsies, they go flying away. And it's easier to aim your little arc at their little footsies. So I spent a lot of this chunker just blasting dudes into the air like toys.
That sounds like fun.
Anyway, once we fight off all these Geth Prime, we get outside, or to a platform anyway, an outside platform, or balcony or something, and we see as I mentioned, the blast doors are open, and now we have this targeting laser that you have to use, and you have to point it into this silo, and once you do, Normandy will do an orbital strike from space.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty cool. And I would like to see more of this in video games. This was awesome.
Yeah. It's like you just hold it there and there's like red lines that appear on either side of the screen and they come closer and closer together. And then when they intersect, the blast fires.
It felt like I don't know if you guys ever played Gears of War, but it felt like the big satellite gun from Gears of War.
Yeah, there's one in something else that we've played, I think. But I like this one.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I like this one a lot because it's not a satellite shooting a laser beam. It's a fucking barrage of missiles from outer space. I liked it. But we get knocked off the platform by the explosion, and as that happens, a Reaper climbs out of this silo.
Yeah, and it's like a living Reaper. I think that they had thought it was a Reaper corpse,
I wish
maybe?
there was more of this in this game because, like, it's like this game needs more Reaper one-on-one stuff, I think. Like, I can't believe this is the first time in this game that you get to go, like, right up against a Reaper, you know? And they're, like, the main antagonists of this whole series.
Yeah, I guess you're not wrong. I mean, we've blown it. Like, the first game was all about fighting a Reaper, right?
Yeah, but just the one.
It was about going after that Turian Spectre guy who was indoctrinated.
Yeah, indoctrinated by his spaceship, which was called the something. And then at the end of the game, we realized the spaceship wasn't a spaceship.
Sovereign.
Yeah, Sovereign was a Reaper.
But
anyway,
we never actually fought Sovereign.
Yeah, we
No, you only talk to Sovereign.
We saw one get taken down by that giant worm in the last chunker, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we have not gone one-on-one with one of these things. So we run. Legion tells you that he's got a ship on the way, and it's a Geth ship, and you hop in. There's a fun turret section here where you're shooting at the Reaper, and you're not really doing anything. I bet you don't even have to shoot the fucking thing.
Yeah.
But you manage to get far enough away from it that you're safe. But then... Or you get far away from it, but then you do another orbital strike, and it knocks it down. And then Shepard orders Edie to sync the Quarian fleet up with the Normandy's targeting systems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically sync every gun in space up to this targeting apparatus and let me paint it. And that's what you have to do. I died a couple times here because
me too.
Me too.
The Reaper laser seemingly moves fast and slow at the same time. It's very hard to gauge where it's at.
So you're on the ship, and then you decide to. You're like, Shepard is like, I'm not running away from this thing. Like, we have to take this thing down, and just like hops off the ship, not in midair, but hops off the ship with her targeting laser, and then you're just on like a plateau, and you've got this Reaper coming at you, and I don't remember who notices it, but somebody notices that there is a weak spot on its head, basically, when it tries to fire. So you pull out the targeting laser, and then you hit it with 3 or 4, I think, orbital strikes from the entire fleet in orbit, and it's pretty
you have
great.
to hit it 4 times from the Normandy laser, and then after 4 times is when it sinks to the broader Quarian fleet, and then that's when everybody hits it.
I didn't realize that was going on, but it was pretty cool. And the whole time it's shooting, it's a death laser at you, which is a one-shot hit. Like, it killed. I'm playing on casual, and it killed me a couple of times because I was too lazy to dodge. And I was like, I'll just scoot out of the way, and that doesn't work.
No, you have to like do the dodge roll and then fire the laser. And sometimes you have to like get the laser halfway primed and do a dodge roll and then fire it again. It was frustrating.
Yeah, I like that it doesn't make you start from 0 when you're priming the laser. It makes it a little bit easier. I would do this thing where as soon as the laser would start, I would run to one end of the little cliff, and then when it would start to move, I would run to the other, and that would give me enough time to prime the laser.
I just would prime it for a bit. I would just shoot it for a bit, and then when the beam was close, I would dodge roll, and then I would shoot it for a bit. But there is a final hit, which I'm guessing is what Jim was talking about with when that's the whole everything in orbit hitting it, where it goes into like slow-mo or something. It's real weird. But the beam comes right at you, and you cannot dodge it. You can, if you just have to paint it before it hits you, but you've got plenty of time because it goes into like slow-mo mode.
But it was still pretty scary.
Yeah, I like the sense of scale you get here from fighting the Reaper.
Yeah, it gets closer to you every time you hit it, too. So by the time you get to the final hit, it is right on top of you, and it shoots its laser. And the funny thing is that this laser, because it goes into slow-mo mode, takes longer to get to you than any other laser, but seems to be coming a lot faster. So it kind of like, it did a good job of putting you on edge of like, I've got to hit it with this final hit before that laser hits me. And you do, and it goes down, which is very exciting. And it kind of lands near you, I guess, or Shepard runs over to it, because then you get to have a chit-chat with a Reaper.
Yeah. And
it definitely
Shepard
recognizes you.
Yeah. Shepard wants to know what the heck these Reapers think they're doing, because all the time they're causing all kinds of troubles. And the Reaper's like, you can't comprehend.
Yeah, so fucking annoying.
Dumb.
Yeah, he's like, why are you doing this? And he's like, you cannot comprehend our reasoning.
It tells us that the harvesting process is necessary to bring order to the chaos of the galaxy. Because in order to save intelligent life must be harvested. But then when we ask why, it's just like, fuck you. And then it dies.
We're not going to bother explaining it to you. But, we're judging this Reaper, but how many cycles has this Reaper done? How many times maybe has it tried to explain it to intelligent life, and intelligent life is like, I don't get it. You suck.
Wow. Vanessa with the hot take. Maybe the Reaper was right.
If you go renegade mode here,
I do like the fact that they recognize Shepard as something different in this cycle.
Yeah.
They say Shepard has like changed the variables or whatever.
If you go renegade here, you can tell it like, bye bitch, and then hit it with another orbital strike to just finish it off, which is pretty fucking awesome. The renegade side didn't have all of that like horrible it feels like it's pro-fascism message. It would be worth it for moments like this.
Yeah. It should just be more like a Han Solo-y fun kind of thing, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that could certainly work. I think that this works pretty well. I mean, I have a lot of problems with Mass Effect 3. Like, a lot of the, I feel like it plays this thing of like re-meet everyone you ever met before, and then gives them all a little epilogue. But that's a weird fucking thing to do at the end of your trilogy, though. Like, it's like they forget that this is like a story about, you know, stopping the Geth first and foremost, and instead, like, imagine watching a Star Wars movie, but every 5 minutes they were just like running into somebody and you're like, tell me about what happened to you since the last time I saw you. Oh, you're doing well? Okay, good. It was nice to see you. Okay, I'll see you later.
That is what fans say they kind of wanted, though, you know, with this new trilogy. I feel like a lot of the complaints are built around the fact that they didn't do that.
But they did.
I think
I've already played the Citadel DLC, so I've gotten a big old chunk of it. So
I know a lot of people felt cheated that they didn't get the like character specific epilogues that they got from Dragon Age in Mass Effect, but
they're different beasts. You know, this is one story about one set of characters. In Dragon Age, each game is about different fucking people. So it's not a good, it's just not a good comparison.
Still the same world and still same kind of central conflict, kind of.
Yeah, no, they're similar. Nobody's arguing that, but they're not the same. It's not the same.
I'm not, but like, even though they're not the same plot, you still could have done that. They just didn't, you know?
I guess. My point is that I find it very tedious myself. What can I say? I don't think it's, like, it's just not, this is the finale, and it should be a good story first, and instead it's I mean, I guess it's all side stuff, but still, as a narrative, you play if you're the type of gamer that likes to play the side stuff, it makes it a weird narrative where there's a bunch of epilogues, and then the game ends.
I liked it.
All right.
I think playing the way I did this time, 1, 2, and 3 back to back in that way, I don't know, it just made me enjoy this kind of style more.
What do you mean?
In the sense of running into like people from the other games and finding out what they were up to.
Oh, did you feel like the end game? I mean, we haven't gotten to the end game yet on the show, but do you feel like the end game deprived you of like understanding?
Oh yeah, for sure.
How these characters ended up? Yeah.
But I do like that you do kind of side missions and run into your friends and things like that. And I think that's because I had a fresher emotional connection to them from having just played the game recently.
Yeah, I think there's actually I think a lot of value to be gotten from playing Mass Effect 2 and going immediately into Mass Effect 3. Mm-hmm. Those feel like the two games that have the most like interconnected threads.
Yeah.
Especially from like a one from a character standpoint for sure, and two from a lore standpoint. It just feel like the two that were developed probably a lot at the same time.
I mean, I think you're right that certainly the from 2 to 3, it basically just picks up where it left off, whereas the beginning of 2 is you've been dead for 2 years. I mean, that's just a different...
Well, 2, the whole plot of 2 is basically gearing up to do 3. Like, the whole plot of 2 is recruiting people to do Mass Effect 3, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole plot of 3 is trying to convince the council that they need to get ready for Mass Effect 3, but then Mass Effect 3 starts and they're like, whoopsie doodle, we didn't do anything we said we would. And, okay.
But Mass Effect 2 is all recruitment. It's all recruiting your like team.
But
and
this
then
is 2.
There's one final mission at the end.
This is also recruiting going and re-recruiting all these fucking people, except you don't get some of them. The fact that I can't put Rex in my party infuriates me. How dare they
the Citadel
never
DLC.
give me a Krogan in my party?
Yeah, there should be a Krogan party member in Mass Effect 3 for sure.
This game made me real in love with the Krogan for some reason. Like they're just such cuties.
I want a
such
lizard party
boys. Hell yeah! And an
I want a Volus party member. I want another Drell. Give me another Drell. I want a Hanar. I want a Blasto in my party. Like, oh man, give me all those.
All right.
I want them. I want a Volcha. Or Vorcha. I do want a Vorcha.
I think the Vorcha are kind of cool.
The Vorcha have in my opinion, the coolest lore of any of the Mass Effect races.
This is not Jim's lore corner.
They only live
for fucking.
They
Jim's
only live. Vorcha only lived like maybe 20, 25 years. They're known for basically surviving in any kind of climate or atmosphere, which is why you can, when you read the little blurbs from the planets that you can scan, they mention there are Vorcha here. Vorcha can survive basically anywhere, and Vorcha basically do nothing with their lives because they only live about 20 years, or they get to be like, you know, like prepubescent teens and they join like war clans and be mercenaries. And there's just a lot of untapped lore with the Vorcha. I think they're a very interesting race. And they're basically immune to everything as well, which is why in Mass Effect 2, in the mission where you recruit Mordin, there are Vorcha in that complex where they're developing that virus or whatever, because Vorcha are immune to basically everything. So they're studying the Vorcha immune system there. It's just a lot of really interesting stuff with the Vorcha. Yeah.
Have we talked in this series about how creepy the Asari are?
Why are there no male Asari?
There never ever are, Matt. They're all
why?
female.
That's right. And they mate with other species or something?
They can mate with each other, but they prefer to, like, culturally prefer to mate with other species, where they, like, take that species' genetic material, and they can mate with male or female, and they, like, take it into themselves and then reproduce another Asari that has some, like, traits of the other parent, but not
Have we
physically,
seen any,
really.
like, half Asaris?
You see tons of them, but
Liara.
they are...
Liara's not a pureblood.
But
Liara,
they all just look like Asaris?
They all look like Asari.
Well, Liara in the first 2 games is presented as a pureblood Asari, the daughter of a matriarch or whatever, but Liara actually, you find out in Mass Effect 3...
Why are you spoiling stuff that we haven't played yet then? You fucking
Liara,
asshole.
No, you can find it up to this point in the game. Liara is a quarter Krogan.
Oh, that's actually pretty interesting.
Liara's grandfather is a Krogan.
I think they just need, like, a little bit of a DNA sample. Like, I don't think it even has to be sexual. They just take a skin
scraping. Did you guys
scraping.
do that Citadel mission where I think it's in Grunt's
Y'all are killing me. We're at the climax
Rannoch.
of this mission. One of the best things that happens in this game, and we've stopped completely to talk about random side missions. Listeners,
hold on,
please go ahead and
talking
just
about
fucking
lore corner.
send us the hate mail.
Yeah, hold on. This is on point with the Asari lore. So you do the Grunt mission, you can pick up, I think it's like a voice thing from a Krogan where he's reading a poem with his dying breath to his Asari lover. If you go to the Citadel, you can deliver this voice message to an Asari on the Citadel. And it's very sweet.
They're from Mass Effect 2. Remember, you meet them.
They are
when
from Mass
he's
Effect
like
2,
serenading her with poetry, and she's like, I don't know if I want to mate with a Krogan. And also, I don't think he really understands that our child would be Asari. Like, because the Krogan, they have such fertility issues, but we won't have a Krogan child. We'll have an Asari child.
Yeah.
The other thing about Asari that makes them heckin' creepy is that Asari don't look like we think they look.
Vanessa, this is a Mass Effect Andromeda lore drop, isn't it?
Is it? Is that where we learned that from?
I think you learned this in Andromeda. I might be wrong, but I think this is an Andromeda little piece of info.
Well,
I think.
I'm going to bring it all the way from the Andromeda Galaxy.
Yeah, it's relevant.
So the Asari,
I think we've mentioned this on the show already.
Yeah, the Asari look attractive to whatever species is looking at them. So they like have a telepathy or pheromones or something that changes the way they're perceived. So, like, a Hanar would see an Asari as, like, a jellyfish face.
Yeah.
And
that's very
Krogan
interesting,
sees
but
an
I
Asari
don't
as,
understand
like, a
how that
scaly face.
works. Because, like, imagine an Elcor. The Elcor look like the elephant things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine an Elcor sees an Asari and is like, "You look like an Elcor to me," but how, like, no matter how strong that psychic field is, like, the biology is so wildly different that how could that possibly work?
Well, I would assume that they actually are kind of humanoid sized.
You know? It's not just perception.
But maybe their face looks like an Elcor face.
Okay. So this is not an explanation for why they all have the largest breasts I've ever seen on a video game character. Because every single
I think it's
one
mostly
of them,
like a...
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
I think they're built in a humanoid way, but when they're like... it's almost like a pheromone thing, the way I imagine it. Like, they just make other species so horny that they see what they want to see.
All right. Can we get to what happens when the Reaper dies? Do y'all want to talk about the most important thing that's going to happen in this chunker yet?
Yeah.
With the Reaper dead and the Geth now free of its control, Legion wants to upload the Reaper code. The Reaper code, I don't know if we even have discussed it, but there's some Reaper code that makes their processing like...
Well, yeah, we talked about it last week.
It's like the jump from megahertz to gigahertz, you know? Like, it makes them real fast.
The Geth turned to the Reapers for upgrades that made them smarter. And Legion is saying, let us upload this code that makes us smarter, but we will do it without having Reaper influence.
Yeah.
So we're cut off from the Reapers, but we're taking their technology and making ourselves smarter.
I mean, the game basically explains it as being true intelligence. Like, they're in no way, it's not even artificial anymore. Like, it's just intelligence.
Yep.
They're totally self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
While you're having this conversation, the Quarians then, after killing the Reaper, resume attacking the Geth. And Legion wants to upload this Reaper code, and Tali is terrified of what'll happen if you do, because she knows that if they all get a mental upgrade, the Quarians are fucked. The Quarians resume attacking the Geth, and Tali's afraid of what'll happen, because her people are attacking. You get a moment to have Tali try and stop the fighting. And she radios in and is like, this is Admiral Tali Zor Normandy. You need to stop fighting now. And they're like, no, belay that order. Fuck you. We hate you.
That's not what happened for me.
And you get the choice to either upload the code. It's a binary choice here. You can allow the upload or you can let the Geth die. Those are your options here.
This is not what happened to me. So for me...
All right. Hang on. I know what happened to you. Can I get through this, please?
All right. So you're talking about your journey, and then I'll talk about my journey, and then Jim will talk about his journey.
Those are your choices.
It's all our journey.
I chose to upload the code, and then Legion sacrifices himself to distribute the new program to the Geth, giving them all the upgrade. And then the Quarian fleet refuses to back off and gets totally fucking genocided. The Geth totally kill the Quarians for all and forever because all of their people, their civilian ships, everything is here. And then Tali, she's like, cool. And she does a swan dive off of a cliff. And you even get a Paragon trigger here.
Mm-hmm.
And if you pull it fast enough, she still falls off that fucking cliff and dies.
Wow.
If you have fake Tali, like John has, she just shoots herself instead, which is cool. If you choose to let the Geth die, you will have to fight Legion and kill him. I don't know if that's a cutscene or a game thing. John will have to tell us next week. And then the Quarians instead do a genocide on the Geth. But if you have a bunch of reputation points, which Vanessa's looking at me.
Can I talk about this? Because this
Vanessa's
is what
looking at
happened
me
to
very hard because this is what Vanessa got because she's the goodest girl.
Because I'm the goodest girl. So in my experience, Tali's like, call off the attack. And then Shepard's like, yeah, call off the attack. And the Quarians are like, and there's this long pause, and they go, okay, call off the attack.
Wow.
And they do. And then Legion's like, hey, how about I upload this super cool code now? And Shepard says, yep, do it. It'll be super fun. Legion realizes that he's not going to be able to just unload it. He has to, or it has to insert itself into the code somehow. And for the first time in its life, Legion uses the I pronoun instead of we. And he's like...
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he goes, I really, I want to thank you for this. And I'm doing what I have to. And so then Legion uploads the code. All the Geth are upgraded. And then they just kind of retreat from the battle a little bit. And that's it. Like, the Quarians are up there, the Geth are up there, no one's fighting anymore. And Tali does go to the edge of the cliff, and she kind of sits on it, and she's like, I don't know what's going to happen now, but I know that right now I have this. And she takes off her face mask and breathes in the air of her homeworld.
Do you get to see her face?
I did not. I tried so hard to get her to find the ending where you get her to take off the mask, and I just couldn't do it.
She took the mask off for me before she jumped off the cliff. She took it off, but it only showed her from the back, and she did the angel pose and threw herself off the cliff.
I did
backwards.
that too in one of my playthroughs.
No. So Jim, what happened in your playthrough in this one then?
So in mine, I was able to save both the Geth and the Quarians, and at the end of it, you get like this little scene of Tali and Shepard sitting at the edge of a cliff, kind of talking about Rannoch, and I thought this is where she talked about owning a home.
I didn't get this, so no.
And so, but I was just waiting. I was like, take your mask off. Take your mask off. I really wanted to see it.
But even when you take it off,
the only way to see it,
you never see her face.
I think the only way to see it, if you don't get it here, is to romance Tali. And then I think there's a picture in Shepard's cabin of Tali or of just Tali, I think, with her mask off. And she looks just like, I think there's a pre-ending fix and a post-ending fix picture, and they're very different, but I think she looks just like a brunette white lady.
Please?
Yeah.
Okay, you do that. So it is possible to broker priests between the two races if you have a high enough reputation. I actually did kind of read the math, not the math, but the explanation of the algorithm for this. And not only do you have to have a super high reputation at this point in the game, but also there's a bunch of like checks where it basically does a dice roll and you just either get it or you don't. So that's cool. Yeah. So Jim,
I didn't realize there was a dice roll aspect.
Oh, it's all in the background. A lot of these things are based off of a random number generator. Well,
I'm delighted to have gotten the ending I did. It's great.
Legion dies no matter what, though. Isn't that a bummer?
She doesn't die.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
Legion dies.
Oh, Legion, yeah. Well, does Legion die, though? Because
he just gives up his mobile platform.
Yeah,
right?
Legion now kind of exists in all of the Geth.
Oh, they say he had to sacrifice like his part of the consensus or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
He dies.
But also,
I don't remember what the reason
I feel
was.
like it's like, a little bit of Legion is in all of them now.
I agree with that.
Maybe not in a conscious way.
Yeah, it's almost like sacrificing your Google Home. It's like, okay.
Okay. I don't think so.
I still have the speaker,
I don't agree with that.
The software is gone.
I don't think that's the case. I think Legion dies. I did read a bit about, after this, you can like go and talk to Tali if she's alive.
Yeah, I talked to Tali and she said, it's pretty amazing. The Geth are helping us get settled.
Oh yeah, they're living there's tiny Geth programs living in their suits now, slowly introducing viruses to try and beef up their immune systems.
Yeah, they're doing that. They're helping them build settlements.
That's super cool.
It's going to really speed up our ability to integrate with the planet. And the Geth have a plan as well, which I think they mention even if you don't get to this point, but Their big dream is to build a big sphere in space and then upload all of their programs to this one sphere so they can all live together.
Yeah. That's cool.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Well, we did it. We genocided the Geth, or we genocided the Quarians, or if you're a super good player like Vanessa, everybody lives. For me, the Quarians are fucking dead.
And me.
Dead.
It was honestly like when I was desperately trying to create a new game plus file. So I was zooming through everything, just choosing the most convenient option for everything. And I got to this point in the game and Tally just dumped herself off a cliff. And I was like, oh shit, I hate this.
She's gone too. The next time I got my party menu, I was like, what's wrong with this? It looks bad.
And honestly, I think Tally is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, offensive party members with her drone and her shotgun. Very, very good to have in your party.
She's just a white woman. You can't. There's not even any hair. It's just the mask that's gone. She's just a white lady with white eyes. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. BioWare.
People were very disappointed. Okay, Thessia. You guys want to talk about Thessia?
Yeah, Thessia is the next mission that we're going to do, and we're going to talk about it tonight. This one actually starts priority Citadel 3, where we have to go back to the Citadel and go to Counselor Udina's office, that man that we killed.
Well, yeah, that Asari counselor rings you on the Normandy, and she's like, hey, I have something very sensitive to talk about. It's a super sensitive Asari stuff. I can't talk about it over the air. You need to come to the Citadel. I'm in Udina's old office.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird, because when you get that message, you're halfway across the galaxy, and I guess she just sits down and waits the 40 hours it takes to get there or whatever.
Hey, you know what? There's a war going on. She didn't have nothing else to do.
Anyway, she tells you that the Asari Republic, which is the Asari homeworld. No, that's the Asari government. The Asari homeworld is Thessia. Anyway, the Asari Republic is having bad time. Thessia is under attack, but there's a Prothean artifact there at a temple called the Temple of Athame? Athame?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows. And we're going to have to go there. And we do.
To get the thing.
We leave the Citadel and we go to Thessia. And when we get there, the military is in bad shape. And we land.
Thessia's getting fucked up.
Everybody's getting fucked up by these Reapers. Like, what's the surprise? Hey, dummies, what was the point of Mass Effect 2? Apparently nothing, because everybody just goes it alone, like a bunch of idiots.
Yep.
Yeah, nobody listened.
At Thessia, the military's in bad shape. And we land at a barricade and meet Lieutenant Curran. And we get to do some more turn action to hold the barricade. And then Lieutenant Curran wants to leave. Now, I'm curious what happened with you guys. I brought Javik with me because, I don't know, John or Jim told me to. And when you meet Lieutenant Curran,
I did.
Javik is like, grabs her by the face. She's like, we're fucking leaving. And Javik like grabs her by the face and is like, I see your soul. It's weird. But it's great.
Yeah, he kind of brain melds with her in the way that Asari can with other species and shows her some of like his people being wiped out by the Reapers. And he's like, you have to get these people to this temple or else this is going to happen to you. And everyone, like, Javik's a big star wherever he goes because he's a Prothean and they're supposed to be long extinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves Javik because he's got 4 goat eyes. And then
there's one bit, did you guys get this where a Hanar can see Javik and freaks out because Hanar worship the Protheans and he sees him and he's like, Enkindler!
Yeah.
It's an Enkindler!
That's like my favorite thing with Hanar in this game is that when Javik is talking about what he could potentially do after the war is over if he doesn't die, he'll be like, maybe, I'll try to resurrect the Protheans or whatever he's, but also I could go and be a god among the Hanar.
Right.
Which is one of my favorite things. He's like, I can live like a king with the Hanar.
And they'll just hang on every word he says.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. But you get a little bit of that in this mission too, because you learn that the Asari's kind of original religion is based upon deifying the Protheans. So
Yeah,
that's the reason why I told Matt to bring Javik along, is because you get some pretty good lore dumps here.
yeah, it's great. We have to make our way to the temple first, and really, this is just kind of going from location to location and fighting off some Reaper monsters.
Oh yeah, a lot of banshees here, because like you are approaching an Ardot Yakshi monastery. And the Ardot Yakshi are the kind of
That's an entirely different
succubus.
quest, Jim.
The Ardot Yakshi?
Yeah, you go to the Ardot Yakshi to meet up with Samara or whatever her name was and like save her daughters.
That's not this mission?
No.
This mission, we convinced Lieutenant
shit.
Kieran to hold the fucking line and open up a path for us to get to this temple. And then we get to the temple. It's like it's probably an hour of game and nothing to talk about. We fight some bad guys. There's some harvesters. You know, I shot them with my shotgun. Didn't do anything. But finally we get to the temple and investigate, and everyone is dead or missing. There's like 2 bodies, but nobody else around.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of artifacts on like pedestals, and in the center of the thing is a big old statue. And the statue, Shepard touches it and realizes like, oh, it's a Prothean beacon. Which, by the way, I had Javik with me. You don't think Javik knew what was happening here? Just didn't say anything. I don't understand. I did not understand this.
You gotta remember, Javik is a soldier. Javik isn't a scientist or like a leader of the Protheans or anything like that.
I guess
He's just an angry dude who likes to shoot stuff.
Shepard realizes that it is a Prothean beacon, and then a Prothean VI comes out and refers to itself as Vendetta, which I found hilarious.
Before that, though, yeah, you have to kind of go around and talk to or about the different artifacts and find a way to.
You don't talk about them. You realize there's a Prothean thing there, and it's like, oh, it's connected to some of the other artifacts, and you just go around and interact with them, and either it shoots a beam of light at the statue or it doesn't, and that's fucking it.
Well, before this, Liara says this temple is kind of like an old world relic of her people. Like, they don't worship this goddess anymore, but when they did, this goddess was renowned for teaching the Asari how to effectively use biotics, how to grow crops, how to organize their people.
They have an argument about it, because Javik is like, so your people advanced so quickly because you were hiding this artifact of my people and learning from it. And as Shepard, you can
that's the thing, is that you learn that the Asari goddess that they revere in this older sect of their religion was a Prothean.
Yeah.
A Prothean that lifted their species up.
It's a Prothean computer.
It kind of throws Liara's whole concept
No, this is like in the way long back past. So Javik talks about because there's there's the goddess and then a couple of her aid people, and she's like, oh yeah, Liara goes, oh, this is the guy who taught us, about he came and changed the weather or something, and Javik's like, oh yeah, we did some terraforming and things like that for you. And Liara's like, what? No, that's not it. Like, this is all, and this is, the one who taught us about biotics and things. Like, oh yeah, we did some genetic experiments on you guys and made you biotics.
Yeah.
So we speak to Vendetta, and Vendetta initially is like, the cycle's already begun. It's too late. I'm gone. And tries to leave, basically. Tries to go back into the statue. But Shepard convinces it, or you can try to convince it, to give us the catalyst, which is what we're looking for, which I may have skipped over in the notes. We're looking for the catalyst for what is the name of the super weapon that we're building? Crooshable.
The Crucible.
Mm-hmm. The Crucible needs one missing bit, and we're not sure what it is. Yeah. And
So-
as Matt said, this is when Javik is like, and Liara has a little crisis of faith because she's like, oh, why would they hide this? And Javik says, well, it's obvious all of your like amazing Asari advancement is because you stole Prothean technology and didn't share it with other species.
Yeah. Good stuff here.
The Protheans were the worst.
Yeah. The Protheans were Nazis, basically. Like, there's no question.
They were gross colonizers. Fuck the Protheans.
The reason we're talking about this is because I ran across I hate to talk about this on the show, but I want to. I ran across like a Reddit post in like the fantasy or science fiction board that was like, how, like, I want to read more books about like cool ancient alien civilizations that weren't like Nazis, like the Protheans. And I was just like, but they were.
Yeah.
You misunderstood.
They were.
Because
They were awful
Yeah.
Nazis.
No, I'm
Who
not
knows
fighting
how
with
many
people on Reddit,
civilizations
but-
they murdered because they wouldn't assimilate,
Right.
you know?
I was like, tell me you wildly misunderstood this part of the game without telling me
Oh,
you
that's
wildly
right.
misunderstood this part of
No
this game.
kidding.
You did not
I
get
think
this
this guy
at all.
He interpreted what Javik said about, you know, the other species would become Prothean
Yes,
and be
very
totally
much.
integrated into our culture as like, oh, we love diversity and everyone's equal.
And then muted his TV at the other half of
Yeah.
his
Honestly,
sentence.
there's a line in
where they either accepted their invitation into Prothean society or we killed them.
yeah.
this might be from the Citadel DLC, but there is a moment I think it's at the party where Javik says something along the lines of, I would never usually see this many species together unless it was a slave trade. And then,
Yeah.
yes. Like it literally in the fucking subtitles cut off like slave tray. And I was like, holy shit.
I
But
mean,
anyway.
a Prothean swap.
It was crazy. And then I saw that post, and that was
Prothean
this
Tea
week,
Party.
and I just could not fucking believe my eyes. Like, wow. Way to
kidding.
totally
That's crazy.
misread this. Anyway, you can try to convince the Vendetta VI to give you the catalyst, and it kind of, at least in my case, kind of started to agree, like, okay, like, and you've got Javik there, and Javik's like, you got to give him a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
But then we hear the VI says, indoctrination detected, shutting
Yeah.
down.
And who comes out of the fucking shadows, Vanessa? Your favorite character in the game.
Matrix glasses.
Matrix boy.
Oh no, it's Kai Leng, the worst character in all of sci-fi media.
Yeah.
This was such a fucking burst of the bubble of what I thought was such a good run here.
Mm-hmm.
Kai Leng shows up and he's like, the Illusive man hates your fucking guts, you morons, or whatever.
Yeah,
And
and,
then-
you're like, you're indoctrinated. And he's like, I
You
don't
don't.
care.
In the mind game, I was not able to say to Kai Leng or the Illusive man, like, you are indoctrinated. And I've
Right.
seen it before with What's-His-Face and Sovereign and Mass Effect 1, where he didn't realize that he was working for the fucking Reapers. And that's what I wanted to say to both
Yeah.
of them, was like, you're
Right.
working for
And
the
also,
Reapers.
this
And they're
VI
like,
just said you're indoctrinated. Like,
yeah. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, like, the worst thing about this confrontation, I think, is that, like, you can't beat him. No matter how many
Yes.
levels you have, no matter how
Yes.
strong you are, the
You do
worst.
beat him.
I think this is one of the worst things in RPGs, especially, is he has plot armor.
But you
Meaning
do
you can't
beat him.
beat him because he's got plot
You
armor.
beat him, and then it gives you a cutscene where he beats you, and that fucking pissed me off.
yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. It just kind of undercuts like everything you've been working for
Like,
in
at
the
least-
game, and I don't
Like
like
Final
that.
Fantasy IX, we had those. What was her name? Not Alexandria. What was the eye patch lady's name?
Beatrix.
You got those Beatrix fights where, like, I mean, you can conceivably win those if you like spam shit, but you
the game
mostly
kind of makes those worthwhile because she smooches.
But that's not
Steiner.
the point. My
I
point
like
is that
it.
in Final Fantasy IX, it does it, but you can't really beat her. She kills you. And then there's a
well, in
cutscene,
Final
and this is
Fantasy
the
IX, she wipes
opposite.
you out 2 or 3
This
times.
is the
yeah.
opposite. They let you fight Kai Leng and win, and then they do a cutscene where they're like, "But not really." Fuck
No
you.
one can beat Boba Fett.
Yeah, I don't like it. It is a real Boba Fett thing.
It is. He's the coolest guy in the world.
That's the most jarring thing about that Star Wars movie is like, nobody's ever mentioned Boba Fett before, and then everyone's like, is that Boba Fett? You ever heard of Boba Fett?
So Kai Leng is like, well, I guess you beat me after a few waves of fighting him. And you fight him, and then he calls in, like, other Cerberus troops to fight you. And then he's like, well, He
calls in a Harrier, like a helicopter
jet
thing.
And after, like, 3 cycles of enemy waves and fighting him, he calls in the Harrier, and he's like, oh, yeah? Well, check this out. And basically just brings down the temple. Like, the ship shoots out the supports. And
yeah, he says target the supports, and Shepard gets knocked down a hole. This is honestly kind of a tense little cutscene where Shepard's trying to climb up the hole, and in my game, she almost falls, and then Liara pulls her up. But I was like, is Shepard gonna die here? It's it's pretty tense.
That would be quite the twist, and then you just play as, like, Edie for the rest of the game.
Do you think the game would have been better if Shepard died partway through Mass Effect 3?
No.
I agree, but also it would have been interesting if Shepard would have died and you had to finish the game as Keith David / Anderson.
Yeah, sure, that would have been interesting, but it wouldn't have made it better.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Would have been different. But not
and it's a decent idea. I've read there's stuff like that where the main character dies. I mean, in a way, Game of Thrones is kind of that when, spoiler alert.
Oh my
for Game
God,
of
no
Thrones,
spoilers. I've never seen it.
When Ned Stark dies at the end of the first book or the end of the first season, like, that's a huge twist. And he was the biggest actor on the show and very much like the most important character in the first book. And then he gets his fucking head cut off.
That fucked me up.
But there's also, I've seen stuff like that. There's a book series that I don't really want to talk about because it's by a problematic author. But it's not very good also. It's a weird political thing where you realize that the liberals are the bad guys. But the main character dies halfway through the first book, and that was a fucking weird twist.
You're reading Ayn Rand books?
Yeah. Orson Scott Card. There's a video game based on that. There's a video game that's like a prequel to that book that was fucking amazing. What's it called? Orson Scott
A prequel to The Fountainhead?
Game.
Are you talking about Ender's
Game?
Xbox. No, not Ender's Game. That's the fucking book. Not Advent Rising. Shadow Complex. Y'all remember Shadow Complex on the Xbox 360? It's like a Metroidvania. It's a super good game. And it is based on Orson Scott Card's terrible political fantasy book. Where the main character dies halfway through. Anyway, spoilers for all of that. There's a big point here, so we win, but then in the cutscene we lose. He takes the information, and then there's I didn't add this to the notes, so Vanessa will have to walk us through it with her steel trap memory. We have a whole conversation with the Illusive Man.
Yeah,
This is the first time he's shown up in the game, I think.
Yeah. It's old Martin Sheen himself.
Yeah, it's fucking Martin Sheen.
His hologram appears.
Martin Martin.
Yeah, it's
okay. I mean, just voice acting alone,
Bartlett.
he adds a lot to this game.
Yeah.
He does. He got some gravitas, that guy.
And Evil Bartlett is like, Shepard,
Yeah.
I thought we could work together, but it's obvious that you suck. And Shepard's like, I think it's obvious you suck. What are you doing? You wanted to destroy the Reapers. And he's like, yeah, but that's before you found that super cool Reaper base made of Reapers. And I started studying the old Reaper I found, and it became clear that we can actually control them, and it'll be really, really great.
Yeah, and this bugged me because I never got a dialogue option to say to the Illusive Man, you are indoctrinated.
Yeah, remember
And
how...
I wanted to. That's what I wanted to say, was you're indoctrinated. I know this isn't going to reach you, but it doesn't matter. You're indoctrinated. So everything else that you have to say is stupid, and all of your gloating is the gloating of an idiot with brainworms, because that's what you have. You have brainworms.
Mm-hmm. Remember how everyone who spends time with a Reaper ends up being indoctrinated, and he's like, I'm upgrading humanity. But you don't even get to say indoctrinated.
Well, one of the cool lore things with the VI that you come to understand is that this whole cycle of harvesting organics, but this whole cycle of having a faction of the organics indoctrinated by the Reapers is also a recurring thing. So you come to understand that, this is just a part of the process, like this human or species first faction that eventually gets indoctrinated is just a part of the process.
Because the Reapers, they're really big and they're good at mass level destruction, but they're not good at finding secret bases and getting information about where people are hiding. But they can make these sleeper agents who are indoctrinated who find out that information for them. But that's not what's happening with the Illusive Man. He just has a really good, really cool idea to control the Reapers.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because, I mean, if Kai Leng is indoctrinated, obviously the fucking Illusive Man is. And I feel like the game should have given the option to be like, hey, this computer just told me that you're indoctrinated. But no. I mean, I know you're not going to change their mind, but, like, I don't have to listen to their gloating at least. Mm-hmm. But Kai Leng steals the information and bails, and then we have like a scene with Shepard talking to the the Quarian ambassador or somebody, and is like so mad, and she's like, "We were defeated," and was so pissed off about it in a way that I thought was so silly. Like, I know that you're the main character, and yeah, I guess you always win, but like you're used to taking some lumps. Like, fucking come on.
Shepard's like, I don't get it. I always win. I'm the winner. This is dumb. I didn't win.
But Edie and Specialist Trainer talk about how they've tracked Kai Leng's shuttle to the planet Horizon. And next time on Square Roots, we'll talk about that. We'd said that we were going to talk about Leviathan, but then John wasn't here, so we decided not to.
Yeah, next time maybe we'll talk about Leviathan first. Let's talk about that monastery mission that Jim mentioned.
I mean, that's a side mission. We could talk about that right now.
Oh, I guess we could.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
So the monastery mission. You get a call from your old pal Samara, the Jedi with the boobs, and
the vampire daughter.
Yep, with the vampire daughter, and she's like, "Hey, I haven't heard a lot from Vampire Monastery. Let's head over to Vampire Monastery and see what's going on there."
I like this part because there's a lot about the Ardat Yakshi in Mass Effect 2. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but Samara can be totally replaced with her daughter.
Yeah.
If you take the Renegade option, but this whole thing really adds a lot to that because the Ardat Yakshi are, I don't know the percentage of, Asari offspring that are Ardat Yakshi, but it seems pretty significant because they have these monasteries built all over their planet they're basically like reform schools or like nunneries for the Ardat Yakshi,
more like a
so they
nunnery.
don't murder every species in the galaxy.
Yeah, and what it is that they seem to have is, we talked about how the Asari take in genetic material from other people to reproduce. These people seem to be able to take genetic material and just absorb it without creating new life. In fact, I think they can't create new life. They're infertile. So,
and it's compulsive.
Yeah, but
like they feel compelled to do it more and more as they get older.
Yeah, it makes them stronger and gives them more skills and things like that. Basically, they're doing what the Asari do in reproduction, taking the best, strongest genetic traits, but they're just incorporating it into their own DNA.
Yeah. And I like that, I liked this, I like understanding how because you didn't really get this. The only real piece of this that you get in Mass Effect 2 is that Ardat Yakshi get murdered.
Yep.
But in Mass Effect 3, you understand like how Asari as a culture and a society deal with the Ardayakshi, which is kind of like putting them in a monastery and making them nuns, basically.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm. You find a schedule at one point where you can when you're wandering around this monastery, and it's real strict. It's like, wake up 4 a.m., meditate for 2 hours, go to class, meditate some more, movie night.
Yeah, but they seem to like it.
Well, I guess it's better than being dead. You know, they don't really have a huge choice here.
Well, yeah, because Samara would murder all of them.
Yeah.
What is Samara? She's
Just a car.
Yeah,
She's not the only one.
Justicar. She's not the only one, and
Yeah, Justicar's rules really don't make any sense, by the way.
No.
They really don't.
It's just prejudice,
No.
basically.
yeah, they seem like really dedicated to finding these Ardayakshi and bringing them to the monasteries. That's one thing they do. But then they also, like, they'll talk about, oh, the rule of the Justicar says if you see someone stealing, you have to kill them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter why they were stealing, you have to murder them. That whole thing makes no fucking sense at all.
Yeah, and then in 2, she can also, like, she swears herself to shepherd service, and she's like, your morals are my morals, you know, for as long as I'm in your service. So she doesn't actually have to follow her code. Then she's like, yeah, but if you, like, make me do something dishonorable, I'll have to kill you. So they're kind of like crappy Jedi.
Yeah, it's lazy Jedi.
So we get to this monastery, and here is where we run into a whole bunch of banshees, which are Ardayakshi that have been reaperified into monsters.
Are they only Ardayakshi? I thought it was any Asari that had been reaperified.
I don't know, actually. But these particular ones, they're really tall, they scream at you, they teleport around. They're bad.
You only have to hit them a few times in their tummy with the venom shotgun, and then they die if you're playing it on easy mode.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay, I'm playing on normal, and but like, I don't have disruptor ammo, but the shield breaker ammo does not do anything. It's so hard to take these banshees down.
Have you tried putting it on casual mode?
I want to, but I can't. I haven't yet.
My shepherd has a power that sucks away their shields.
Ooh, sealed chucker.
Yeah, I use
Shield sucker, not sealed chucker.
I use sealed shucker, and then
Sealed
I
shucker.
use
Gotta shuck those seals.
sealed shucker,
Gotta shuck them out.
Singu parody, and then
Leave.
I'm trying to think of a good
My
thing
favorite
to throw.
power, leave.
Yeah. And goes away.
My
ball.
favorite power, turn off my Xbox.
So
Yeah.
you go to the temple, you do find Samara's daughters. One of them is zombified. She's like losing her mind. They basically turn them into zombies, by the way. Which this very much is Dragon Age in space. The zombies are made by the Terminator babies instead of the evil magic, but still it's the same thing of let's take this concept or this setting and add zombies.
Hey. Yeah, so one sister is doing fine. The other one is in process of becoming bansheeified. And there's also a big old bomb in the middle of the monastery.
Planted by Cerberus?
I think it was planted
Who planted
by
that bomb?
The
the
Asari.
Asari commandos who went in there before.
Oh, that's right. It's a commando bomb.
Yeah, so the Asari commandos investigated the monastery when it went silent, and they essentially all got slaughtered, but they did manage to set up a bomb. And so they were just going to blow up all of these banshees before they could be released into the world. So, Samara, you battle a whole bunch of more monsters. Samara's infected daughter grabs the detonator for the bomb, and she's like, "Get out of here! I know what I need to do." And her uninfected daughter is screaming and throwing a fit, and you pull them both out of the monastery. And infected daughter stays behind and sets off the bomb. And then you're standing outside the monastery on this balcony overlooking mountains. And here I think probably is another situation where you need a lot of Paragon points or reputation points. But I'll tell you what happened to me. Samara's like, oh, well, that sucks. My one daughter died. Sucks that the monastery's blown up. But, and Arda actually has to live in a monastery. And if there's no monastery, sorry, you gotta die. And she points her gun at her daughter.
She tried to blow her brains out. That happened to me, too. And it's like, oh, no.
Well, first she tries to kill her daughter. No. And Shepard's like, hey, how about
it's a
we
Paragon
don't?
Trigger prompt. Like, you have to grab the gun out of her hand.
Yeah,
this is
like,
crazy.
Don't kill your
by
daughter.
the way, what a shitty character.
That's
Samara
why
is.
these rules make no fucking sense. Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah.
And then
no
really
monasteries left. Guess I have to kill my child.
Yep.
This is the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
And then after that, you can talk to Samara and be like, "Look, you don't want to kill your daughter. You love her. How about you don't?" And she's like, "You're right. I don't want to kill her." Well, looks like I broke my code. And she puts the gun up to her own head and she's like, gonna have to kill myself now. Oh, God. Jim's going to the bathroom and he didn't shut his door again.
Jim, stop pooping on camera. He's coming back. That's what happens when you wear earbuds. See? That's why I do it. Anyway, this is crazy, and Samara, eventually you can convince her. It's the daughter, the remaining daughter is like, I'll fucking stay here. I guess the bomb that you set off, that you walked one room away and you were fine, but I guess it killed all of the Reaper monsters.
Yeah, killed all the Reapers and destroyed the monastery. So after Samara spares her daughter, Samara's like, well, I'm going to have to kill myself because I broke my code. And again, you get a Paragon prompt and you're like, hey, lady, don't do that. And then her daughter is like, look, a monastery doesn't have to be walls. It's our way of life. I'll stay here and I won't go yakshiing around.
Okay.
And then Samara's like, well, maybe I'll kind of stay here with you too. But first I'm going to go help the Crucible.
She doesn't go help the Crucible. She goes to help the war, and she doesn't join you. She just kind of goes to where she says she's just going to go to where the fighting is hottest, basically.
Yeah.
And as you're leaving, you get like a call from some like commandos, and they're like, we're going to go hang out and keep everybody safe at that there monastery. It's real cheesy.
Did either of you have a different experience with this ending? Did you let Samara kill her daughter or herself?
Or both? No. John probably did.
Yeah.
Yeah, John probably did.
Well, John's a genocider. So, we escape. By the way, the Reapers basically destroy the planet as we leave. Like, there's, like, the war effort, I think, here is done. I think that the Asari also basically get genocided. They don't get genocided, but their home planet gets fucking wiped out.
Yeah. They have some of their planets, though. But, I mean, every home planet is under the same situation. Earth and the Turian homeworld and the Krogan world, they're all under Reaper attack.
Not the Krogan homeworld. Worm ate that thing.
Yeah, but there's still
I know,
other
because I
Reapers around.
spent a lot of time in this chunker fucking around and just, like, searching planets for stuff and 100%ing all those little galaxies. And I realized that the Krogan galaxy was the safest galaxy, and there is a fuel depot there. So I was constantly going back and topping off on fuel before I had to go to the places that were being murdered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one and the Horsehead Nebula are two very safe spots that have no Reapers and a fuel depot.
And no resources either.
No, I really like scanning for resources, by the way.
I really liked it in the last game. I think it's terrible in this game. The fact that it just points you at the spot to go to and there's one resource to get. Like, remember the last game when it was so satisfying to, like, drain all the planets of their fucking ore?
Mm-hmm.
That shit was fun, and this is garbage. All right.
So,
where are we playing to next time?
well, I guess next time we'll do Leviathan. We'll do Horizon, and I guess we should do Citadel, too.
You want to do the Citadel DLC next week?
I really want Citadel to be its own thing, but
Okay.
this is going to be a long series, I think.
I mean, this is episode 5, so we're not going to wrap it up next time. Do you want to make it an 8-episode series, or do you want to make it a 7-episode series?
Yeah, it's either going to be 8 or 7.
I don't think Citadel's enough.
I think we
for
could
its own
do it.
episode.
I think honestly, if we did next episode Citadel and the one after that, everything else.
Well, how
Okay.
about we do
Maybe.
next episode, the next mission?
Honestly, okay, can I throw something out that might get cut? I think Citadel would be a fucking amazing bonus episode.
That's true.
Citadel would
we've
be
been saying,
an A plus
we've
bonus.
been saying all month that we're going to do the Citadel. I mean, I guess I don't give a shit.
Well,
Marches
I don't think
like
that we
in
should
10 days, dude.
put behind the paywall stuff from the main game.
Marches in like 6 days.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys want to do? How do you want to space it out?
Marches in 5 days. I think we should do Horizon because that's the end of Act 2. So I think we should do Leviathan and Horizon and maybe Citadel. If you have not done Citadel and you're playing along with us, you should probably do it before the end of the next episode because probably the last episode should just be Act 3 of the game. Cerberus headquarters and Earth.
And Citadel?
And Citadel if we don't do it next week.
I don't know how we'll fill an episode next week if we just do Leviathan and Horizon. I guess we can, and all those other side quests.
All right, so next week on Square Roots, we're playing to, we don't know. We'll let you know.
Next week we're playing Leviathan and Horizon and a whole bunch of other side quests.
We're going to do
So you want to do the end of the game and
side
Citadel
quests.
in the same episode? Because that seems like too much.
No.
I thought we were going to do
I
Citadel
really
as its
think
own
I
episode.
was really hoping Citadel would be its own episode, but
No, we'll do next time Leviathan, Horizon, other side quests. Time after that, Citadel. Time after that, Endgame.
so that's 3 more episodes
An
of
8
Mass
episode
Effect.
series for a 20-hour game. All right.
It's a story-heavy game.
No, you're right. We're going to spend more time talking about it than it took to play, but that's fine. I'm
We
teasing.
always do.
I'm teasing. All right, that's what we're playing to next time on. Jim, what's next?
Email.
Next, we're going. Oh,
That's not next.
Sorry, what?
Next is Squarely
Oh, right.
Against.
Squarely again.
Why can you people not remember the
Oh.
order of things that we do on
We
this
haven't
show?
been doing this for very long.
We have notes in front of us, and it has them listed.
only like 6 years.
Also,
Yeah.
we're not doing fucking emails. What emails?
I have an email.
Oh, all right, fine. Let's do Squarely Against first. Jim.
All right.
I will say I am roundly for the whole arc of the Quarians and the Geth. I really
Fuck
honestly think
you.
it's the best written conflict and through line, like from a whole trilogy standpoint of the whole series, and it's very interesting and never seems to really wear out. Especially from a gameplay standpoint, and also Tally is a great party character. So I'm roundly for the Quarians and the Geth. Matt, what are you squarely against?
Fuck you. That's what I'm squarely against. You just took my squarely against is what I'm squarely against. I'm roundly for the amazing ending to the Quarian Geth fight. In fact, I kind of, not to sound like a psychopath, but I'm kind of pro this ending that I got. Because we learned that the Quarians were the aggressors in this fucking war. And on top of that, they're basically fucking Nazis. Like, they were like, fuck you, Geth. You don't deserve the right to exist. And so I did not feel bad when they... And then, on top of that, they again were the aggressors in this final conflict where the Geth were like, we're going to get real smart now. And the Quarians were like, let's kill them fast. And as Shepard, as this moral character as Venepard, as this moral character that I'm playing, I wasn't going to sit there and side with the goddamn aggressors in this fucking war. And it was kind of weirdly satisfying in a gross way when the Quarians fucking lost and died. And if they hadn't committed all their civilians and every single member of their species to this fight, they would have fucking died. They did this to themselves. And honestly, it's kind of dark, but I kind of like the tally ending. Like, I don't know. You learn some real shit.
It's an ending.
And
like,
then
I like how definitive
died,
it is.
And I don't disagree with her actions. It's dark. Vanessa.
No,
go ahead.
Going off of what you said, I do like that this game makes the Geth, the victims really in all of this. But I feel like it wants you to have a moral conflict about whether or not the Geth are actually worthy of life being non-biological. And that has never resonated for me. Like, it's never have I questioned being like, oh, no, that's a good point. Like, are they really alive? And I don't know if
that's the least interesting part of all this.
Yeah. I don't know if other people have had that experience too, but I mean, it's sort of like the Pinocchio story, right? Like, what is alive and what isn't, and if something's sentient, it's pretty much alive. That's it.
I agree. I 100% agree. It makes it very interesting because you learn here. Well, as I said, you learn the history, and it's way fucking darker than you think. Mm-hmm. It presents it like it's. I haven't finished the show, but it presents it like the beginning of Battlestar Galactica, where it's like, what the fuck is wrong with these Cylons?
Mm-hmm. But I, of course, like my happy ending where they come together because these Quarians aren't the ones who wanted to kill the Geth originally. They just, were taught bad by their parents.
They're just the ones that want to kill the Geth now.
Yeah.
Feels like you're excusing neo-Nazis. Like, Nazis I hate, but neo-Nazis, I don't know.
I think that these Quarians have been de-radicalized, and that's a good thing. But
it's not in my game because they attack regardless. I know you're trying to say something, but can I tell you guys a terrible story that has to be cut out of the show real quick?
Okay.
I drove by. I was picking my kids up this week, and I drove up to the school at the crossing guard station and had to sit there. And there were some kids doing fucking Sig Heils at the cars that were coming by. And then when I drove past them and turned into it with my windows open, they yelled fag at me.
Oh.
Some 8th graders sitting at a fucking crossing guard stop. I wonder what stopped the crossing guard guy from grabbing them by the fucking ear and being like, I'll kill you.
Right.
Honestly. Other than maybe he was deaf.
Preteen kids are the worst.
They sound super edgy and cool to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
I couldn't fucking believe it.
I bet they listen to Korn.
Jesus. All right, John,
I'm squarely against Kai Leng. What a loser.
Oh, Kai Leng definitely listens to Korn. He listens to Oleander. For our Canadian listeners.
Can I just like redo my squarely against? I'm squarely against forced losing to Kai Leng because again, I complained about it, but you kill him.
Plot armor.
You kill his ass. I killed that motherfucker, and then he pops up and he's like, "I win," and I just can't do anything, and that's garbage. At least Final Fantasy IX and games like that have the balls to be like, "Hey, here's a fight you can't fucking win. Prepare to die." And that's tough. And this game doesn't want to do that. It wants to
telegraph.
You can win this fight, but also Ken Ling's going to win because he's Matrix Boy and he's cool.
There's nothing less cool than a character that the media you're watching really, really wants you to think is cool. Like Kai Leng. Ugh.
Yeah, you're right.
Squarely against him.
Right.
Emails. Here's an email from Philip. Just quick email recommending a game. I've always wanted to recommend Legend of Dragoon, but it was only ever available on PS1 with the physical discs. But I just heard it's now on the PlayStation Store. I'd love to hear you guys play through this. I have magical memories of playing and replaying this game. It's got dragons, plot twists, horrible voice acting, and a fun quick-time event combat system. What more could you ask for? Anyway, you guys are great, and I love you all.
So I'm just saying. So I've played this game, and I think it's awesome.
Tell me one thing about Legend of Dragoon.
I've had multiple people reach
out
to me.
Tell me one thing about Legend of Dragoon.
It's got dragons.
I don't think it does.
Dragons?
I don't think so.
Quick time events.
Quick time events?
Yeah, it has quick time events. It has dragons and plot twists and horrible voice acting.
It's really one of those like real hardcore classic like PS1 RPGs. Like a lot of people who maybe didn't get caught by Final Fantasy VII played Legend of Dragoon, and it's kind of in that same wheelhouse for those people. It's a very beloved PS1 RPG. I think we should play it eventually.
Okay. Well, listen, it's a vote year again for some reason. We never really gave a reason for that.
It's always a vote year.
It's not always been a vote year until last year.
2023, it's up to me.
The past 2 years.
So put it on a vote.
Me is Matt next month.
Me is Matt next month, and I'm winning. And that's because we have a Patreon. Jim?
We have a Patreon, and if you're privy to it, you can sign up at patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast. You know what? Honestly, it's 2023. We have a lot of great content on our Patreon.
It's several years.
Honestly, we don't really talk about it that much, but we have a lot of good content.
Y'all remember when we played a D&D knockoff called Fate, and we played Final Fantasy characters and killed Sephiroth and a bunch of juggalos?
I drank more beer that night than I have ever in my life, I think. We've done D&D stuff. We've done commentary
Is that the night that Jim, one of his eyes closed and he couldn't open both his eyes at the same time?
I think it is.
That was it. That was that night. We've done lots of stuff on the Patreon, though. We've reviewed movies. We've reviewed games. We've done commentary tracks. There's a lot of stuff on there. If you want to get access to all that good content, you can subscribe for $3 at patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast. For $5, you get all the access to that great content, plus the ability to vote on games that we play. All of 2022 was votes only. 2023 is gonna be the same after BioWare. If you want your voice heard on the games that we play, like I said, sign up at patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast. One of the benefits that we afford to our patrons is that we like to read out loud and thank personally our patrons every week. And Matt is going to kick us off this week by thanking
Adam H. I'll do that again. I'd like to thank Adam H., Teen Wolfhard Bumpkins, David Arnold, Armin Hammer, Mithrigan Sullivan. Chief Hazard built a fart box for Vanessa to fart a pop about her dislike of poop jokes. Wedge Coon, Seth G., Race Jenkins, Jason Timms, Dylan Rowe, oh hey, it's Amanda P., and Julian Curtis.
And I would like to thank Evan K., Josh Holt, Sean Gonzalez, David Shook, Stunseed. Backwards is D's nuts.
It is.
It's true. Wow. That's great information. Wash in the Wind, Keysby Knight, Sean Walsh, Mary Queen of Scoffs, Grey Code, Wishbone is Gay, and Jerry Schreffler.
And I would like to thank Benjamin Hilberg, Tyler Crump, Gage Lacharite, Lex Averial, Star Drifter, Kristen Ingram, Nick Moriarty, Kodab Games, Sergeant Spaghetti, Florian Jonas Kramer, Magpie Juju, Jared Collins, and Stephen Padgett.
And I would like to thank, for John, Jim, oh my God, did you see Ben's hat?
Dead.
Ron. Orcus the Great, Do Good Recklessly, Dr. Fine Say Everyone's Name, Ania Mazzini, Tracy the Board Queen, Justin Ham, Aaron Serenity Now, Little, Maybe Flesh Guys, and the very easy to find woman. What do you think that they call the elusive man for shorthand? I was thinking about that today. Like, do you call him like Elu? What do you call him? You don't say
Lucy.
the elusive man.
Call him Lucy.
Lucy.
Ill dog.
Lucy's the best answer.
All right, everyone. That's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like, you can send us an email to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com or come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or find Vanessa on Twitter at Square Roots Pod.
Wow. Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Bejan Beige and on YouTube. Links are in the show notes.
All right, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
Vanessa.
Bye.
Last time on Square Roots. If you've got a signal, it's a Geth ship. Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
That was good.
Is that the whole thing?
That was good.
That's it. That's the
All
whole
right.
thing.
So I just want to roll things back and say they can mate with male or female and produce children. So what you're telling me is that they give such great head to females that they can just suck that egg right out? Is that how that works?
I don't know if
That's how cunnilingus works.
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
That's how you know that you did
you
it right.
You
is that
eat an egg?
suck
You eat an egg out?
Oh, no. I don't like this at all.